She was invisible to most, just a 19-year-old waitress working late nights at a rundown diner in rural Ohio. Quiet, polite, never causing trouble. But to him, she wasn't a person. She was prey. That man was Judge Richard Calloway, the most powerful figure in the county. For 3 decades he controlled the courtroom like a king, untouchable, feared, and respected. But behind the polished smile and silver hair, he hid something vile. At first, his visits to the diner looked harmless. He tipped big, asked questions about her future, acted like a mentor. But the kindness was a mask. Soon the compliments turned sharp. The offers darker. Emily began to feel his eyes on her even when she wasn't looking. He followed her after shifts, cornered her in the parking lot, offering rides she didn't want. And one night, his voice dropped low, carrying a threat that would freeze her blood. "Play along," he told her, "or watch your family pay the price." Most girls would have broken under the weight of that threat. Most would have stayed silent. But Emily wasn't powerless. Hidden deep in her apron pocket was a small voice recorder. And every word was captured. For weeks she collected evidence. His promises. His threats. His laughter that made her skin crawl. Each recording stored away in a shoebox under her bed. She didn't know how she would use it. She only knew one thing. If Judge Calloway thought she was helpless, he was wrong. Then came the night of his charity gala. The entire town's elite gathered in glittering gowns and tailored suits. Businessmen, police chiefs, politicians. They raised glasses and praised Calloway's name, blind to the monster in their midst. And Emily was there, watching from the shadows, her purse clutched tight. At the height of the evening, the lights dimmed. The projector screen lowered. The crowd hushed in anticipation. But instead of entertainment, a voice echoed across the room. A voice they all recognized. Judge Calloway's voice. "Play along, or watch your family pay the price." Gasps erupted. People turned. Calloway's face drained of color, his glass slipping from his hand and shattering on the floor. Clip after clip played, each more damning than the last. His threats. His manipulation. His cruelty. For the first time, the man who held the entire county in his grip was exposed. And then Emily stepped out of the shadows. She met his eyes as his kingdom collapsed around him. The king of the courtroom had been dethroned by the waitress he thought was beneath him. Police escorted him out in handcuffs. The crowd that once adored him now spat his name with disgust. Reporters swarmed. And Emily, for the first time in months, could finally breathe. Justice, it seemed, had been served. But as the squad car door closed, Calloway turned his head, eyes burning with fury. And through the glass he hissed, "This isn't over. You don't know who you're dealing with." That's when Emily realized the truth. Taking down a man like Calloway wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. Because monsters don't vanish when exposed. They adapt. They survive. And they strike back harder. 2 weeks later, Emily came home after a long shift. She unlocked her door, flicked on the light, and froze. The shoebox where she kept the recordings was gone. On the kitchen counter sat a single envelope. Inside, a message written in bold red ink. "You think it's over? This is only the beginning." And in that moment, Emily understood. Her battle wasn't over. It had only just begun. Emily thought she had won. She thought the recordings were enough. Judge Richard Calloway was in jail, stripped of power, humiliated before the entire town. But power like his doesn't die quietly. It waits. It festers. And Emily was about to learn that his reach extended far beyond prison walls. The note on her kitchen counter was proof. "You think it's over? This is only the beginning." Her blood ran cold. Someone had been inside her home. Someone had stolen the shoebox of recordings. And that meant only one thing. Calloway wasn't working alone. At first, Emily tried to brush it off. Maybe it was just intimidation. Maybe the evidence was gone, but the court already had enough to keep him behind bars. But deep down she knew better. Calloway's allies weren't just lawyers or politicians. They were people who owed him favors, people who would do anything to protect him, and to silence her. Strange things began happening. Her car tires slashed in the middle of the night. Anonymous phone calls that hung up the second she answered. A shadow lingering across the street, gone by the time she looked twice. She went to the police, but they shrugged. Without proof, there was nothing they could do. And besides, Calloway still had friends in the department. Friends who might be the very ones following her. Emily realized she couldn't trust anyone, except herself. One evening, she decided to search her apartment more carefully. And in the corner of her closet, hidden beneath a loose floorboard, she found something that didn't belong. A small flash drive. No note. No explanation. Just a black stick of plastic, placed there by someone who had been inside her home. Hands trembling, she plugged it into her laptop. What she saw made her stomach twist. Video files. Dozens of them. Each labeled with names she recognized. Waitresses. Students. Secretaries. Women who had all mysteriously disappeared over the years. Victims everyone assumed had simply left town, or worse. And there he was. Judge Calloway. In some of the clips, laughing. In others, towering over terrified women. The man wasn't just corrupt. He was a predator. A predator with a trail of victims that stretched back decades. Emily realized the recordings she had stolen were only the surface. This was the real evidence. The kind that could destroy not just Calloway, but the entire network protecting him. But before she could transfer the files, her laptop screen suddenly went black. A message blinked across it in bold white letters. You weren't supposed to find this. Emily's breath caught. Someone was watching H. She slammed the laptop shut, her heart racing. Her phone buzzed a second later. An unknown number. And when she answered, a distorted voice whispered just 5 words. We're coming for you, Emily. She dropped the phone, panic flooding her chest. Somewhere out there, someone knew she had the files. Someone was already closing in. And just when she thought it couldn't get worse, there was a knock at her door. Slow. Measured. Heavy. Emily crept toward the peephole, her hands shaking. But when she looked through, her blood turned to ice. Because standing there wasn't a stranger. It was someone she knew. Someone she trusted. And with that, the nightmare took a darker turn. Emily's heart pounded as she stared through the peephole. It wasn't a masked stranger. It wasn't some faceless thug. It was Officer Daniels, one of the few cops she thought she could still trust. He had always been kind, always treated her with respect. If anyone could help her, it was him. Or so she believed. She opened the door cautiously, her voice trembling. Officer Daniels, they're after me. He gave her a sympathetic smile, stepping inside. I know, Emily. That's why I'm here. To keep you safe. For the first time in weeks, a flicker of relief washed over her. She told him everything. The stolen shoebox, the flash drive, the threats, the chilling videos of Judge Calloway and his victims. Daniels listened carefully, nodding, his eyes unreadable. Then he asked the question that shattered her fragile sense of safety. Where is it now? The flash drive. Her chest tightened. Something in his tone had changed. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't protective. It was hungry. Emily froze. She realized too late that Daniels wasn't there to protect her. He was there to finish the job. Emily, he whispered, stepping closer, do you have any idea what you've gotten yourself into? Calloway wasn't just a judge. He's connected to people who don't forgive. People who don't forget. You hand me that drive, and maybe you live long enough to see tomorrow. Panic surged through her veins. She had trusted him. And now, she was trapped inside her own apartment with the one man she thought she could rely on. Emily's mind raced. She couldn't let him see the drive. Not yet. She had hidden it moments earlier inside the vent near her bed. If Daniels found it, it was over. Thinking fast, she lied. I burned it. It's gone. His expression darkened. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Don't lie to me, Emily. You have no idea what's at stake. Her survival instinct kicked in. She needed to buy time. If you really want it, I'll take you to where I left it. But we can't stay here. It isn't safe. Daniels studied her face for a long, suffocating moment. Then slowly he nodded. Fine. You'll take me there. Now. He motioned toward the door, his hand resting near his holstered gun. Emily walked ahead, her pulse thundering in her ears. With every step, she searched for a way out, a neighbor's door she could pound on, a witness, anyone. But the hallway was empty. Outside, the night air was heavy, suffocating. Daniels guided her toward his cruiser, the lights of the city flickering in the distance. She slid into the passenger seat, every muscle screaming for escape. As the car pulled away, Emily glanced at the rearview mirror. A black SUV had pulled onto the road behind them. Its headlights stayed locked on their tail, too close, too steady. Daniels noticed it too. His grip on the wheel tightened. His voice was low, almost a growl. Don't turn around, Emily. Don't say a word. But she already knew. This wasn't just Daniels. This wasn't just one corrupt cop. This was bigger. Much bigger. The SUV's headlights flashed once. Then again. A signal. Emily's stomach dropped. Whoever was inside that vehicle wasn't following Daniels. They were following her. And that's when she realized the most terrifying truth yet. She wasn't just fighting Judge Calloway. She wasn't just fighting his allies. She was fighting an entire system. And as the SUV drew closer, ready to force them off the road, Emily knew one thing for certain. The real nightmare hadn't even started. Don't forget to subscribe and comment for more videos.